What's going on, everybody out there, and welcome back to another episode of the Dark Adventure comic book review. But as always, before we get into the review, the pre-review show. Now, as you are seeing this really late, unfortunately, we are very late this week because starting Thursday, the Division 2, Tom Clancy's Division 2 private beta dropped. And as you all know, I am a huge fan of the Division. I've been streaming it from the 7th all the way through till today. You're probably watching this on Monday morning by the time we're done recording this, and I have it set to go live. I'll probably set this to go live on Monday morning. I'm not going to set it to go live at 2, 3 in the morning. So you're probably seeing this the day after the beta ended. And I had a really great time with the beta. I am going to save my opinions of the beta, though, because I am working on a video for my new channel. If you haven't gone over to check out my new channel yet, definitely go check it out. But there's a lot of stuff going on. Michael, actually, we are celebrating for Frontline our 5-year anniversary this coming Tuesday. It's going to be on Frontline Live. We're going to have a 5-year celebration, even though we've been on YouTube now for over 5 years. I think Dark Avenger Inc. was 2 years old.
It was 2.
So officially we are 7 years old, but Frontline itself is 5 years old. So we'll be having a really awesome celebration over on Comic Frontline. So if you are available on Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, Frontline Live, episode 200 and something. I'm bad with remembering
It's
numbers.
like in the 30s, basically.
I think so. 230 something. We will be celebrating 5 years. We're going to be celebrating top 5, talking, and we also have a mystery opening. We're going to be doing an unboxing. So if you like unboxings, if you like mysteries, if you like having a good time, and if you'd like to just celebrate 5 years of Frontline, definitely pop by the channel this Tuesday.
Yep, and you could also look forward to checking my Topic Time video, which will also be posted on Monday of the 5-year anniversary, the 11th, of my thoughts being on Comic Frontline for 5 years. So hopefully you guys will go check that out. As far as my channel goes, it's been, I noticed, a little bit quiet because I am working on something new that I'm going to try, if not now, maybe to push it off another month or so, but it's gonna be something that I've been thinking about doing for a while.
Looking forward to that. And also this channel, since I noticed last week that we are now in the 480s. So we are getting very close to 500. So again, I want to mention how much it's been an enjoyment doing these reviews as we get closer to 500, which will actually be in July.
And it'll be 10 years for your YouTube channel.
That's right, my channel's hitting 10 years as well. Which again makes it harder after the 500th review to kind of step away from Dark Avenger C86. 10 years is a long time, a decade on here, and all of you have been awesome. And the friends that I've made, the group that was formed because of Dark Avenger C86, and all the wonderful people I met throughout all the comic reviews, it's been an awesome ride. Like I said, we went from a comic channel to a everything channel to a vlogging channel back to just comics again, and that was what made me finally decide to move over to a brand new channel. And whoever is still watching all of the stuff that I do outside of comic reviews was able to go there and enjoy all the random stuff I do on there outside of comics. Now, when this review hits 500, as you all know, anything comic related wise is going to be moving over to Comic Frontline. And Dark Avenger C86 is going to become a archive of anything I do review wise for comics, or any comic book video I do archive. Right now I have the monthly haul over on Frontline. Those will not come over to Dark Avenger C86 till maybe later on, just to keep activity on the channel, because I don't want the channel to go completely dark. But as far as a review after 500, again, Michael and I want to get through to 500. There's going to be a big celebration for 500. And after that, then we're going to sit down. We're going to take a break. We are going to take a break from doing a review show probably until 2020. I would say January would be when the goal, per se, would be to launch a review would be. That's about 6 months from when we end. A little less than 6 months, since we're going to be doing it at the beginning of July. But still, it's enough time to sit down and really think about what we want to do. We obviously want to reformat the show. We want to engage all of you more, and then the question of, should it be a live show? How many books should we review? What should we review? What type of review should it be? How long should each review be? And that's something we have to sit down and think about as a group, Michael and I, as a duo for the review. And also we have to figure out, do we want to start up a new review show? Maybe Michael doesn't want to. Maybe I don't want to. Maybe we have a better idea for something different that isn't a review show. And that's honestly what we're going to be doing the 6 months probably that we won't be doing the review after 500 is figuring out what, where, and how, if we decide to come back with a show, what type it would be. Yep. And obviously it will be on Comic Frontline first, and then it will archive over to Dark Avengers C86. You know, with the new channel, I always think, you know, when the review's over, do I want to just move everything back over to this channel from my new channel and just, you know, because we've built up a lot. I mean, we've built up over 2,000 subscribers. It goes from 2,000, I think we're at 2,301. And I appreciate each and every one of you throughout the era who've joined me. But again, it goes back to moving away from the Dark Avenger brand and going into my own. So again, I know I say this a lot. If you are interested in continuing following myself, Michael and I, or I even have Tommy in videos with me now, I definitely say the links in the description below. Definitely go over to my new channel, which doesn't have a name yet because we have to hit our 100 subscriber mark first. And then I'll figure out an official name for the channel. But the new channel has a lot of really awesome stuff planned for it. We have a lot of stuff coming. Again, a lot of my focus right now, and this goes back to, again, why I'm not doing a lot of new things. My focus right now a lot is on getting to 500 solo-wise. And then also, I've made a lot of good friends through Twitch, so I'm working on Twitch a bit. I am doing some new series over on my channel, but I'm doing it on a slower basis. I do have a thought bubble in the works. I have the Division 2 beta discussion in the works. I have another taste test with Tommy in the works. If Mike's around, Mike will be in it too. A taste video in the works. I have a lot of different things in the works, and right now really pushing the new channel is hard because I'm working here, I'm working on the new channel, and I'm working on Frontline, and then we also have Brooklyn Boys we do from time to time, and then there's Twitch. So my mindset is 90% let's get to the 500th comic review, and then we'll see what happens from there. So again, if you are subscribed to this channel and you're here and you're seeing the activity, after 500, the activity is going to become little to none for a long while. So if you have not gone over to my new channel and subscribed, please do go over there, subscribe, check out the videos. There's something there for everyone. I'm trying to put a little bit of everything in our review in that channel. I'm just doing it at a slower pace again because of all the other things, the other commitments that I'm slowly, you know, finishing. A lot of the stuff that I'm committed to right now is either ending or it's slowing down, or like the review, which is the biggest commitment I believe I've had for the past 10 years, is coming to a close. So, again, it's just, you know, I want to get through all that stuff first before I really put focus. And also Celestial Falcon, work on issue 2 is really getting kicked into high gear, and it's an enjoyment. And that's number one priority for me, is Celestial Falcon, getting you, all of you, issue number 2 as soon as possible, because it's been a while, and I know a lot of you have been demanding, and well, not demanding, but you've really been excited and waiting patiently for that second issue, and Brant and I are doing our best to get that second issue to all of you as soon as we can. So those are the priorities. Getting priorities out of the way, then the enjoyment begins. But when spring comes around, I think vlogs will be easier also, because we'll be able to go out more. It's freezing right now outside. Certain days. Other days, I don't know. The weather's weird around here.
Very.
But with that, that's it for the pre-show, because we are already 8 minutes. No.
Well, you're waiting for
9
minutes.
So, since this is super late, I am going to keep my end of the review.
Our end.
Oh, you're going to keep your end too?
Yeah.
It's late, and we're recording this late at night. Because I could barely
remember. I mean, I remember what's the middle and highest, so
right. I'm in the same boat, especially because we're starting to read this week's books because of Frontline Live.
And there's a lot of books I got this week.
Oh, I got exactly. So we started reading the newer books. So for us, it's going to be a little bit rough to remember. So pardon us if we don't have it.
We'll give the best we could.
Oh, I know what I liked and what I didn't like last week. So let's get into.
Oh wait.
Right. When? What?
How many?
How many and what date?
Yeah. So there are 14 books that we are going to be reviewing that came out on the week of January 30th, 2019. Last week of January.
The end of January.
Yep.
Star Trek, The Q Conflict, Part 1. This is a huge crossover between Star Trek, Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I believe we have Voyager, and I'm trying to remember, there was one other, I believe. Star Trek, Voyager, Deep Space Nine, and and the original, the OG, Star Trek. I like this first issue. I feel like it's set up really well for something really cool. I like how Q went in and pulled all of the captains from and the leaders from different times and places, actually, because it says 2 years ago, 8 years ago. So I like how he grabbed them all from different points in time. Obviously, that's how we're gonna have Kirk in it, and he brought them all together. I'm very excited to see how this crossover goes, and I'll be reading it digitally, but I'll more than likely be picking it up as a trade in the end. I do still have to get the Incognita now as a trade when I see it's available. I think I have to check DCBS this coming month for that. But I will, anything that's Next Generation involved, and this is heavily Next Generation involved, like this, I will definitely be picking up the trade. But I think this I might have to pick up the single issue for, because it's literally a single issue. Star Trek The Next Generation IDW 2020 one-shot.
Yep, 20 years of IDW.
It's Picard before he's captain, and we get to see Wesley's mom and dad as they getting, we get to see an adventure of, I forget what ship they're on, but no, it's okay. I forget, oh god, and it's gonna drive me nuts, but basically he's there. No, it's not the Enterprise that Picard was on, and he's not the captain in this, so, or I believe he's not the captain at least, and he has hair, it's creepy. I love J. Kenneth Woodward's artwork in this book. I will say that. I always enjoy when he does Next Generation. But it was a nice one-shot showing Wesley's parents getting married, Picard, in his younger days, and Beverly was kick-ass when she was younger. I will say that she was on kick-ass on the show as well. But it was nice to see, a before. And I believe we're going to be getting that with the new Star Trek as well. We're going to be getting a young Picard, or Picard is going to be in it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes as well. But I enjoyed it. Both Star Trek books were amazing this week.
Alright, so we're going into my books now. Actually, it's going to be a while for my books. Ice Cream Man issue number 9. I am telling you right now, even though this has been a 2-3 months absence, I don't know how much more to take of this book. I'm giving it one more shot and then I'm done. This book is just boring. It is like long dialogue. These two guys you see on the front cover, they meet each other, and then they go meet with their uncle, so to say. And it's just dragging out. And it's just so boring. I just cannot with this issue. The more I feel that's dragging out, that's why I feel is just not holding my interest. So I'm definitely going to give it one more issue and give the verdict on that. WWE Forever issue number 1.
Only one person is still alive on that cover, I believe, unless I'm wrong about.
Let me see. Yeah, only one person. Yeah. So I'm just gonna talk about just 5 stories. The first story, A Show of Heart, talks about Bret Hart's backstory, his debut of wrestling, where Jimmy Hart was his manager and trying to give him confidence to go on further. So that story was really cool. King of the Bling was basically
$1 Million Man.
The $1 Million Man's point of view about how he created the belt, so to say, his own $1 Million belt. The Royal Treatment was basically can't remember now. See, this is, but I love the artwork though. The artwork's really good in this thing, and so the Royal Treatment was this was just a little bit of art difference about who were King of the Rings, so to say. Internal Audit was where
oh my god, the right to censor.
Yep, they got him to do their taxes and whatnot, and this was a little bit of a weird so to say one. And also you see the $1 Million Man who came in that one and talks to him, which they both become tag team champions. And then you got this last story, The Brain versus the Bulldog, where Bobby the Brain Heenan had a dog. And no matter where he went, he's always bringing a dog with him, even though the dog's been giving lots of trouble and everything. They've been basically almost best buddies in the ring, and also they have their own pets like Jake the Snake does and other WWE legends that we have known in the past. So that was really a classic book I read, and definitely something really awesome. Bloodshot Rising Spirit issue number 3. Bloodshot's been going through so much of the experiments of them testing him because they want to find out, the doctors, of how much of a war he can go through. So in a laboratory, it's just him going through, I think, 2 scenarios of going through a war. And the ending is going to be like more of a serious part, because I think this is where things are going to get more heated up for Bloodshot from when I read this issue. But it's really awesome, though. Definitely, you guys have got to see this. It is very involved, so that's why I don't want to give too much of what I remember, but definitely you should check it out.
And now we're going into Marvel, and
the big 2.
Michael's the only one that has Marvel,
3.
even though I've read Amazing, but that's still your book.
Oh, you did?
Review.
Well, I would like some help to get some breath and all that.
Well, I don't remember it, because I honestly, that's,
It's a little. I'll remind you a little bit. Marvel Knights 20th, issue number 6. This is the final issue, actually, to Marvel Knights, where more answers are being found out. Not a Black Panther, but Daredevil actually is shown what the future could be like, as far as not being like a safe world. It's like basically a crazy world and whatnot. So Daredevil sees this, and we all see Wilson Fisk, who comes in all different and whatnot. And I can't remember who
Sentry.
it is. Yeah, Sentry, thank you. Sentry shows Daredevil and the rest of the team how the future can be, and then Punisher's like saying, oh, you can't be serious, this is not how this is, you're lying and stuff like that. And the whole thing is that they all gonna go back in time to prevent this from happening. And you just end with Daredevil and Elektra, who are going to try and do what they do best by being what they are.
Oh, I didn't read that issue yet. I read the one before it. You're on your own, bud.
Alright, well, anyway, The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 14. And what I liked about this issue is that in this issue, we have Rhino, who actually teams up with Spider-Man. And we also get the Lizard Man, who comes in, and we also get Aunt May, who is dating this other guy, because I think Jay passed away?
Yes.
So, yeah. And this is still following Aunt May having that health condition.
So Friendly Neighborhood does directly connect into it.
Because look, it says, see the classic, amazing, all that, and Friendly Neighborhood as well. And Spider-Man is trying to fight off against Taskmaster and I think Ant-Man? Not Ant-Man,
I forgot his name, but yeah.
Yeah, but he tries to fight off against them as Rhino helps him out. And then there's a missile that's shooting towards the restaurant where Aunt May is. So, yeah. We know that Aunt May didn't die, but it's headed towards that cliffhanger of what's going to happen for the next issue. So we could see about that. The Punisher, issue number 7, where we got introduced to the nun who wants to help Francis. Like Frank Castle calls him Francis.
Just Frank, yeah.
Yeah. And it's all about trying to get Zemo, and then he's still trying to say that he wants to attack him, and yada, yada, yada. And it's just Frank Castle, who is just basically brutalizing the Hydra team, who are trying to punish him for all he's done. And luckily, Taskmaster was there to actually help him out, in one sense, for that. And it's just the nun back at the end, like saying, because the Hydra team were going to attack the nun, so he took the punches for her, which actually was something else. And we're just going to see what more happens in the Punisher issues to come. So, really, really good issue, though. It is a little bit different, but it's a good issue.
And we're moving into DC Comics, starting with DC Vertigo, Sandman Universe, Books of Magic, issue number 4. I'm really enjoying this book a lot. So Tim is now, I believe he goes to a library and he's looking for a book, and we find out that the library is that the librarian is more than he seems, and he's a little too obsessed with his books. And one thing I liked is it adds more to people who are going against Tim Hunter, and then also the bully that we've seen throughout the series so far sees him using magic, and Tim now is worried that he's going to go telling everyone else. But the good news is he got hit in the head, so Tim can kind of say, oh, you think you saw that, but you got hit in the head. Mm-hmm. And he decides that he doesn't want to have nightmares anymore, so he enters the dreaming. And we all know that right now the dreaming is being taken over by the judge. So we're seeing our first we're seeing our second crossover, because technically the House of Whispers crossed over with the dreaming. Now Books of Magic is crossing over with the dreaming. That's also crossing over with the House of Whispers. So almost all of the books are in the Dreaming. The only book from the DC Vertigo line that is not connected directly to the Dreaming yet is Lucifer, and I don't see that book crossing over right now with the Dreaming. There's a lot of weird stuff going on with Lucifer, but that's the only book I don't see that crossover happening for a bit. Now we're going into Metal, and I believe this is the only book soon to be left in DC Universe Metal, and I believe they're going to get ready to probably let this book go as well and close off the Metal line, because we have Black Label, Metal, and we have Wonder Comics now plus Vertigo. So Vertigo's not going anywhere, DC Vertigo. Wonder just started. That's not going to go anywhere for a long time. Black Label just started, got put under fire, and is continuing forward, so that's not ending. Metal's the one that's going to go. And honestly, Metal's the only one that's left a bad taste in people's mouth. So, The Terrifics, issue number 12, though. Mr. Terrific puts out a call for help. Phantom Girl escapes. She runs away from home because she doesn't want to get married. And she sees Mr. Terrific's call and reaches out to everybody else. There's some really wonderful moments in this book with Plastic Man and his son. I loved it a lot. And Metamorpho returns. That's right. He can't take being human. He wants to destroy the staff so he never has to worry about, even having the inkling of being Metamorpho again. And then he sees Mr. Terrific's in trouble and he's like, damn, I'm going to have to. And he becomes Metamorpho and the dog becomes a Metamorpho dog again. It's cool. The Metamorpho, we knew it was going to happen. So Rex becomes Metamorpho and that's how the book kind of ends. Now the team is getting back together to save Mr. Terrific.
Alright, annual Teen Titans annual one shot. Damian Wayne.
No, annual number 1 because it could always be another one.
Yeah, versus Jason Todd. And for those of you who read Teen Titans, Damian had a box of something that could be effective when he fights off against Jason Todd. And that's what it is. An all-out fight between Jason Todd and Damian Wayne with Robin and Red Hood. And I like how Jason Todd talked about how he was Robin with the whole cape thing and so forth. With that one saying he never liked wearing the cape because it's too theoretical. I thought that was something else. And it looks like that Damian wins, but then Jason Todd really gets him, including when he finds out about the box. And it just ends up as a tie and just said... that if his team or him come looking for him, he'll be sure to put them all down to the ground because he doesn't want to be found, or he doesn't actually want to be brought to Gotham because he's afraid of something that might...
Because he did something he wasn't supposed to against Batman.
Right, with the Penguin, I believe. Yeah, the Penguin. And then the whole second story about Joy of the World, it's actually in Brooklyn, where it talks about Roundhouse, Red Arrow, and... the other team, how they're doing their thing against other people, and we get this person, I forgot what his name was, some kid in a Joystick, basically. So they fight off against him, and then they win, and then that's basically all there is to that story. But a really heated up fight it was against him, and definitely, it was alright. The second story, but the Damian Wayne versus Jason Todd was really something close to the family, at least, if not even.
Batman Detective Comics 997. Batman and Mr. Terrific, or Mr. Miracle, stuck underwater with a bunch of sharks. And I like the internal dialogue as Batman, we're taking through Batman's thought process on how he's going to escape. And he does. And then he ends up fighting that clay monster again, or that mimic monster again, as Batman. And obviously this monster knows everything about Bruce. And we get to see Batman versus Batman. It was really cool. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a good book. It ends really well, really strong. And now what's next? Who's sending this thing after Batman? I'm sorry. He believes he knows who sent this thing after him. And, it's been spoiled. Hugo Strange is Batman's target. And that's where the book ends. Looking forward to seeing how Hugo Strange fits into all this, but I don't think it's Hugo Strange. Action Comics 1007, or as I like to call it, Lois decides to let...
Whatever.
Lois lets the cat out of the bag. Lois tells her father Clark's secret because she feels like she can't lie to her father anymore. So she tells him, Jimmy Olsen is a man of action again, a reporter of action. I love that. I loved when Jimmy was the one running, I hated when New 52 came around. Jimmy was like that kid that stayed away from trouble. Now we got Jimmy who's back to Mr. Action. By the way, this is the beginning of a new arc called Leviathan Rising, which is somehow connected to the first arc Bendis did. This is like one grand story with like 2 or 3 arcs. Joy. And Jimmy's a man of action. Superman played a little to no role in this book. Again, action was always Bendis's. Bendis mentioned it was going to be about the Daily Planet more than just Superman, so it makes sense. Doesn't mean I like it. But anyway, Superman plays a very small role in here. Apparently somebody tries to axe Amanda Waller. He ends up saving Amanda Waller, but now who did it and why and who's causing these explosions? One that Jimmy sees and one that Amanda Waller was involved in. And like I said, then Lois tells her father the truth about Clark. What kind of impact is that going to have on Superman? What kind of impact is it going to have on everything in Superman's life? It's going to be very interesting to see what happens next when it comes to Action Comics. And then finally, Heroes in Crisis, issue number 5. I am still enjoying the series. I believe it's only 12. Let me see the cover.
It's 5 of 9.
9. It's 9 issues long, so we have 4 more issues to go. We just went through the first 5. So we're one past halfway now. Well, honestly, there's no half of 9, but...
Is that Boomerang? Not Boomerang.
No, that's Blue Beetle and Booster Gold.
Yeah.
So Booster Gold and Blue Beetle on the hunt for answers. We get more people who talked at Sanctuary. The world is now dealing with what Lois revealed, and Superman makes a grand speech. Batman is... Batgirl interrogates Skeets to find out where Booster is. Harley Quinn and her teaming up to find Booster Gold to get some answers. Booster Gold finds some answers about Kid Flash Wally, that apparently the dead Wally was 5 days older than he should have been, which makes no sense. And then, of course, as he discovers that, Harley and Batgirl show up as well. And it's just crazy, all the stuff that's going on in the world. And Superman acknowledging, yes, there's a sanctuary, but we do this so, we have nightmares too, and sometimes we have to deal with it. And this is how we deal with it. I'm curious. Again, a lot of questions and very little answers are we getting. We got a little bit with Kid Flash, with Wally, in this book, but not really a lot when it comes to a resolve. Hopefully now that we are in the, I would like to think, beyond halfway, with 4 issues left, hopefully within these 4 issues we're going to get all the answers we want, the resolve and the conclusion. We'll see, but I know a lot of people fell out of this book. A lot of people started off really happy with the book and then hated it, and a lot of people started hating this book.
They were hating it because of what happened with Roy. In the
Roy, Wally,
Arsenal.
And a few other people. But
right.
I'm saying that this is going to be very interesting, and I think everything's going to be undone except maybe Roy. I think Roy might stay dead for a while, or the pre-New 52 Roy could show up.
He's probably going to come back somehow, because they keep on saying, oh, he's dead in other issues. He's going to come back somehow, at least.
They always do. Heroes never stay dead, unless companies want to keep them dead for a while. But eventually they always come back. Eventually. So, again, with Heroes in Crisis, I'm interested. Again, I feel like DC's kind of like playing it safe right now, because Doomsday Clock was going to be their last big event that led into the way DC was going to be from now on. And as you all know, Doomsday Clock is so delayed that we're not going to get a resolve until halfway through this year. We're not going to get the grand end game of Doomsday Clock until the end of this year, or middle of this year. I'm sorry, past the middle of this year. So, again, going to be a little hard for DC to really progress until they get past Doomsday Clock, because that's something that is world-changing. It's a world-changing event. And, of course, hopefully knocking Dr. Manhattan back to his universe and keeping him there. But beside that point, beside Doomsday Clock, I'm still enjoying Heroes in Crisis. I'm interested in seeing what Tom King has in store for his endgame for Heroes in Crisis. Not too keen on his Batman right now. I'm a little iffy because I don't know where he's going with a 100-issue arc, but that's Batman. Batman actually this coming week is crossing over. It begins its crossover with Flash. I believe it's a different team. I'm not too sure. Don't quote me. But anyway, that's it for this review. As always, in the comments below, feel free to talk about anything we talked about, any of the comics we talked about here. Likes, dislikes, agree, disagree, recommendations. We always love hearing from all of you whenever you would like to be heard. till then, everybody, take care, keep reading, keep collecting, and we will see you all really soon in the next review.
Later, everybody.